If you're Australian and you're earning remote money online, then you are almost certainly paying money that you do not have to pay, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because nobody told you the rules. The ATO taxes Australians on worldwide income, regardless of where you are, where your clients are, the way your business operates. If you're an Australian tax resident, then at the top bracket, you're going to be paying 47 cents on every dollar you earn. But what many Australian entrepreneurs don't know, that in Australia, tax residency is not the same as citizenship, unlike places like the US. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Australians are stopping this and exactly what that structure actually looks like. Now, I am Australian, but I left Australia at 21, and for over a year now, I've been operating as a Georgian individual entrepreneur paying 1% tax. And that's not a typo. I pay 1% tax in Georgia, which, although is very, very far from Australia, is completely achievable for any online Australian entrepreneur. Now, last week I made a video explaining exactly why I left, and in under 2 days that video got over 1,000 views and quite a few messages. So what I realized is that in that video, I didn't give you guys the specific source, the specific mechanism. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step and breakdown of how to actually get it done. So in this video, I'm going to cover 3 things. The first thing is going to be exactly what is Australian tax residency and what triggers it. Number 2 is going to be exactly how do you seize tax residency and stop paying it. And number 3, for example's sake, what is a Georgian individual entrepreneur and how can you transfer everything over to that and be paying taxes at 1% instead? So let's get started with the thing that most Australians usually get wrong, and that is what exactly is Australian tax residency. So deciding if you're an Australian tax resident is done using 4 tests by the ATO. Number 1 is the resides test, and this is the main test. Now, if you pass the resides test, then the ATO will go through 3 statutory tests, and that's going to be the domicile test, the 183-day test, and the superannuation test. Now, the one that usually gets most online entrepreneurs is the domicile test, and what that means is that if your permanent place of abode still looks to be Australia, then the ATO will make a case that you are still technically an Australian resident, which means if you still have a permanent place there, you still have too many connections, registrations, things like that, then they will still make that case that you should still be an Australian tax resident. So this is the trap that most people fall into. They catch a flight to Thailand or Bali, spend some time there, and assume that because they're no longer in Australia, they no longer need to pay Australian taxes. But that's not how it works, because physical presence alone is not enough to break Australian tax residency. The ATO looks at a number of things, such as where is your family, where are your subscriptions, where are your banks, where's your business, things like this. So what the numbers actually look like, if you're doing around 80K per year in income, then you're going to be paying roughly 18 to 20K in tax. If you're doing around 100K, it's going to be 26 to 30K. So now that we know that physical presence alone does not break tax residency, I want to cover how you actually do pass those tests and seize tax residency, because that's going to be the most important thing if you want to stop paying those taxes in Australia. So number 1, the ATO's own guidelines say that you cease to be an Australian tax resident once you establish a permanent place of abode overseas with no intention of returning to Australia or leave indefinitely, which means if you are trying to emulate the image that you're planning to leave Australia, but you're kind of just pussyfooting around and you're actually, you still have a crib, you still have your memberships, you keep your banks open because you know you might be back, you keep your car, things like this, you're probably not going to get away with it. You want to make it genuinely shown to the ATO that you are indefinitely planning to leave Australia. That doesn't mean you can't come back once a year to quickly catch up with your siblings and parents, for a week or whatever that looks like. But you can't be bouncing back and forth. You can't have, all your things still in Australia and try and claim that you're planning to leave for good. So the 4 things the ATO looks at is 1, what are your intentions when you're leaving? Are you genuinely leaving for good, or are you just on an extended holiday? Number 2, your overseas establishment. Have you set up a bank? Have you got a long-term place? Have you got a vehicle? Have you got a business registration? Have you genuinely set everything up that you would need, that you could cut all your Australian ties, get rid of any access to Australian systems, and still sustain your lifestyle and keep everything running? If you've done that, then that is a very clear indicator that you are genuinely moving your life away from Australia. It's not going to work if you've kept everything in Australia because you need it to function. Number 3, your Australian ties. Did you cancel all your registrations? Did you cancel your business registration? Did you cancel your bank accounts? Did you close everything down? Because that is going to be a very clear indicator that you're not planning on returning anytime soon. And number 4, your return pattern. How often are you coming back? Are you coming back every 4 weeks for a week? Are you frequently coming back and spending a good amount of time in Australia? Or are you staying away for, most of your life and maybe coming back a week every year to see family? Because again, that is going to be a very clear indicator that you genuinely do not maintain a life in Australia. Now, the bottom line and the caveat here is that Seizing Australian tax residency is always a facts and circumstances situation. No situation is exactly the same, and you're essentially always going to be preparing yourself to go to argue with the ATO that you should no longer be an Australian tax resident, and they're going to prepare their case that you should. That's the way you should think of it. I am not a tax professional, so at the end of the day, you should absolutely seek individual tax advice from an Australian accountant to advise you on your situation. Those guys are the experts. This is just from my own research, my own experience, and what I've found and seen for myself. This is not necessarily going to be entirely accurate to your situation. So the mindset that I had going into seizing everything and setting everything up is that I need to make as clear as possible to the ATO that I never intend to return to Australia, and I have nothing left in Australia. I have no vehicles, no memberships, no banks, no registrations, nothing, and I never intend to live in Australia again. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, you leave Australia. First of all, you either rent or buy something long-term. You buy yourself an apartment, or you rent an apartment on a lease so that you have a clear permanent place of abode. You're not just doing Airbnbs. You get an actual address on paper. You register a business account and register a bank account in that country. So you have your business set up there, you have your bank there, and you cancel all of that out of Australia. You get rid of any properties. If you own a property, rent it out so it's clear that somebody else is living in it and it's not being maintained for you, waiting for you to go back home, and make it very, very clear that you're not using any of the Australian systems anymore. Now, this brings me into the third part that I want to cover with you guys, which is a foreign structure that I use, which is the Georgian Individual Entrepreneur. And this is what allows me to pay my 1% tax. And I believe that Georgia is the best alternative for Aussies leaving, wanting to get everything set up and wanting to get it all done and running quickly. So Georgia's business structure, individual entrepreneur, which is the exact same as a sole trader in Australia, takes one afternoon to set up at the service hall here in Georgia. It costs $28 to get set up. And once you've got that done, you can register for small business status within a couple of days, and you're done and set to pay 1% tax. That's it. You pay 1% per month. You announce your income to the government. You pay your 1% and you're sorted. You can also get your bank account set up within that same day. And one thing that's really good about Georgia for Aussies is that we can come here for 365 days with no visa. You can just rock up at the border. They'll let you in for 365 days. You can register your business. You can set up your bank account. You can get it all done within a day. And then you actually have a full foreign structure. You no longer need access to Australian structures. You have your bank account, you have your address, you have your business, and you can run everything from there. Now, another reason why Georgia works very, very well for Aussies is the cost of living here. I live in Batumi for less than $1,000 per month. So like 1,400 Australian dollars, I guess, per month, and that covers everything. That's my rent, that's my food, that's my gym, that's me going out frequently and eating out. That pretty much covers everything. I've done a cost of living breakdown, which you guys can check out on my channel, but I mean, the cost of living here is incredibly cheap compared to Australia, and the value for money that you're going to get is insane. And another reason why Georgia, in my opinion, works well for Aussies is that the tax residency certificate is very easy to get. You spend 183 days per year here, and you get your tax residency certificate instantly. This is a massive, massive help in making that case to the ATO in showing, look, I've got a tax residency certificate of another country. I'm a tax resident somewhere else. That's the biggest help that you can have in showing the ATO that you're no longer an Australian tax resident. If you have established yourself properly, you've got your rental, you've got your business, you've got your bank account, you shut everything down in Australia, and you've got a tax residency certificate from another country, then you are in a very, very good position, in my opinion, when dealing with the ATO if they do decide to ask any questions when you file the tax return. Now, the final thing that I wanted to sort of leave with you guys is just the process of actually seizing that residency. It's not done until your yearly tax return. So end of June, when you do your tax return, there's going to be an option to say that you are no longer an Australian tax resident. You tick that, you choose the date you left, and that's how you get it done. So within 7 years, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's 7 years, the ATO can still question you and you can have to make your case potentially. So like I said, absolutely chat with a professional. But in any case, I hope this has given you guys a good idea. Now, I'm going to put in the description, probably the second link under my free school community is going to be my guide for Georgia. If you guys check that out, it's a full guide on how to go from your situation based on your income, which country you're coming from, etc., etc. You'll answer a bunch of questions and I'll make you a full guide on how to move to Georgia and get everything set up here. So if you are interested in Georgia, check that out. If you're thinking about somewhere else, the same rules apply. The biggest thing is just going to be breaking away that residency from the ATO and proving to them that you're never coming back and you're never going to pay their 47% tax again. So guys, if you think I've missed anything, please feel free to leave me a question in the comments or jump in the school community. I'm doing a weekly Q&A there. The next one's on Wednesday. So jump in there, ask some questions, and get it going, guys. Like I said, chat with a professional about your specifics, but if you can get this done, you're going to be in a very good spot. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope it is helpful for you. Like I said, I look forward to reading your questions, and I will see you all in the next one.